Welcome to another episode of Beauty and the Priest. I'm Fiona.
And I'm Jim. Thanks so much for joining us. I hope you get a lot out of this episode. I know that I'm going to, because this one is going to be one that Fiona's got a lot more expertise than I have in this area. Fiona, today we're going to be talking about mentors, coaching, counsellors, friends, and even spiritual directors, and what the differences are, and if you need one, and what you can expect from them. So I guess over to you. Exactly what is all of that about?
Yeah, there are so many questions. And I think that's a really good way to start it, because a lot of people ask, well, what's the difference? Do I need a mentor? Do I need a coach? Do I need a counsellor? And while they're all similar, they all play different parts, and they all have different skills that they're bringing to the relationship as well. And essentially it is a relationship, but it depends on what stage you are at yourself right now. And the big thing is, I guess, the question, do I need one? And I'm just going to come straight out and say every single person should have some sort of mentor. If you've got and had parents, you should have counselling. And that's the thing. So that covers every single human, like every single person on the planet should at some stage have counselling, because we've all been broken by something in our lives. But I guess to start off with, the counselling relationship is more to deal with past and brokenness and potentially trauma, to help you process through mostly pain and just to get over stuff. Whereas coaching should be more about future, more about where you are right now and future planning. And coaching is very strategic. So, like, for example, as a coach, the first thing I'll do is send you a form to fill in to tell me about you, so I know a bit about your background, a bit about your personality type, your values, what you want out of the next 12 months, to strategically help you plan a process to get you there. And a coach is really your cheer squad, is your just gives you, and a lot of coaches ask more questions than they give answers, which you should. I do that, but if you want more of a sports coach, I'm going to give you a strategic plan, a game plan, and all that sort of stuff, as well as helping you process what you want. So all coaches do things very differently. A mentor is more about sharing your experience. And so say if I was doing a job, a specific role in a company, a mentor is someone who's walked in my shoes or walked the path that I'm going to walk, so they can help me through that. And a mentor should never be your boss. A mentor should be someone completely different. And a coach shouldn't really be a friend or a family member. It should be someone completely different.
No skin in the game.
With a counsellor. So there's all those different roles. And then, of course, you've got spiritual mentors that I guess you would know more about, because there's someone that takes you on your spiritual journey. And so a coach can coach anybody in anything. But a mentor really is someone that's been where you need to go and can take you along that journey and share their wisdom, as well as some of the things that have worked for them and where they've tripped up. So
I guess
short story long.
Yes. No, I some of the images I think came to mind when you were saying that. I was thinking about if, for argument's sake, you had diagnosed a brain tumor, and you were thinking, what's the next stage going to look like? Well, of course, you're going to have your generic GP who will be able to help you and make sense of, in common speak, some of the things that are going on. You would obviously be introduced to a surgeon at some stage, and depending on the surgeon, you may not get a whole lot of conversation from them, but you'll trust in their absolute expertise in knowing all those different things. And I do believe it'd be really quite helpful to speak with people who have had what you had and have gone through the surgery. I mean, that's certainly something that I would really love. Because facing something like that, you're going to be thinking, what if I die on the table? What if this happens? What if this? I'm really terrified about this surgery. What if things go wrong? Just to have somebody who has gone before and done all those different things.
That can share their wisdom.
Correct. But those different people are only specialists in their area. For argument's sake, you wouldn't get the person who had the surgery to be the surgeon.
Yeah.
You wouldn't expect that. And I think what you were saying before about with mentors, certainly my mentors have been really reluctant to suggest things, which I've found really difficult to work with, because I'm somebody who would really prefer to have somebody say to me, hey, this is what it sounds like is going on with you. I suggest this. They don't do that. And that's really quite hard.
And see, that I guess then comes into training. That becomes like a training, mentoring / training. Here's something that has worked for me before. But I think that's really important, because I mean, a lot of people that I've spoken to that go to coaches is like, they're not telling me anything. I'm like, really the purpose of a coach is to bring out of you what's already inside you. And a good coach should be able to ask you the right question to make you think, because then you come up with your own solutions, which is what a really good coach will do. A mentor should be giving some strategies, and here's what's worked for me. Here's some of the mistakes that I've made. Here's where it's costing me a lot of money. Here's where I've fallen on my bum. Here's all these other things. And to try and prevent you from making some of those mistakes. But we can't prevent people from making all mistakes, because mistakes are the way we learn and grow and build resilience and problem solving. So we don't want to like helicopter parent our mentees and our coachees as well. But trying to stop them from falling into big holes. Like that thing. So that the picture that you've just painted there is really good to show that there are different people that are good for different areas. Support groups and the importance of people to support you through whatever you're going through right now. And so the short answer to is, do we need a coach or a mentor or a counsellor? Yes. And you don't know you need it until you get one, and you go, how have I gone all this time without it? And right back to Maslow's theory of needs, right, is we need community. It takes a village, and somewhere along the line, I believe we've lost that, because we've all gotten that maybe family of origin or culture where it's like, stiff upper lip, get onto it. You've got to do it all yourself, and you've got to be strong, and don't depend on other people, because that's a weakness. And that's just a big load of bull dust. It's actually a strength to be vulnerable. It's a strength to need others. It's a strength to come together and use that village around you and draw on other people's experiences, expertise, and amplify your growth, right? You can only get so far on your own. It's like we were talking about in the show last week. You can do things on your own, but if you include God in it, you're going to amplify your growth. You're going to amplify your results. If you include other people, you're going to amplify it even more, because then you've got other people's lessons, other people's ideas, and because also of that cognitive diversity. So my brain thinks completely differently to your brain. So you can come up with this set of ideas, but then you ask me for some ideas, and they're going to be completely different. Bring them together, mix yourself up a beautiful cake of magic.
Totally agree. And I think that's one of the big issues. I know that there's an African proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And that's I think it's a really good illustration of that. So to have some sort of consistency for future success, if it's not just to get there as fast as possible, absolutely, you need a team. So that's great. I guess the other area we didn't cover was spiritual direction.
Spiritual director.
Which, is obviously quite important for specific things. And there is a lot to be said around that, and I don't really want to just cover it in a quick few minutes. But the interesting thing, I believe, with spiritual direction is that if you've got a psychological issue, you would go and see a psychiatrist, so somebody who's dealing in the mental issues. If you've got a health issue, as in a body issue, a sore arm, sore leg, or whatever, you would go and see somebody who's a medical practitioner in that space. If there is something that doesn't really fit with either of those two things, but it's an ongoing issue of some type, I suggest it's probably a spiritual issue, and then you would need to see a spiritual director to really help you through that season.
So, but how do you know that it's a spiritual issue? And this is a question that, so I know in my practice, and I do a lot of leadership coaching in corporate. And so I could have your middle-aged men who are more engineer brains that say to me after the thing, because they've kind of been forced to do it because of their company. And at the end of it, they go, I've got to be honest, I was very skeptical about doing this. I didn't think it was going to be any good. And I'm like, yeah, I know, I've heard that before. And they've gone, I didn't realize how much of an impact this would have.
Yeah.
Because there are things that they didn't know they needed until they got them and then wondered what they did without them before.
Yeah.
And so with spiritual director or spiritual mentoring, how do you know that what you need is that? And how do you, so you never find yourself there?
Yeah, I think that there's, well, certainly my experience, which I have to admit is not very long or big, it tends to be one of two different types of people who come and see that. One is somebody who does it as a first course. They haven't actually seen anybody medically or clinically, like a counsellor or a psychiatrist, and they go to see a priest or somebody first, and you think, this is sounding a lot like this rather than you're beset by demons type of thing. So there's that. The other is the other type who have explored every other avenue and thought, I'm out of options here. You know, I would suggest that somewhere in between those two would be the ideal. Don't leave it to the last resort, but don't make it your first resort. There can be an over spirituality sometimes, seeing demons under every rock, which is absolutely pointless. So I would say somewhere in between those things, and a good spiritual director will let you know when it's not something that they can help with quite soon. You know, in the same way that if you went to a GP or a doctor of some type and said, look, I've got a sore back, and then they go there and go, actually, you don't have a sore back. We've run immense amount of tests. This seems to be a psychological issue. And here you go. Go and see somebody else.
I think this is where the more self-awareness we have as individuals, the more responsibility we take to know ourselves and get more in tune back with ourselves and our intuition. But it comes from awareness to start off with, is knowing what well-being is and the different domains of well-being, so you know where to look for the source of the cure for whatever's going on. And so again, I run a wellbeing workshop in corporate, and so we teach the differences between like what impacts your spiritual well-being, what impacts your mental well-being, emotional well-being, and physical well-being, and just teach them all the different points around that, so that they can start to become more aware of where I need to shift my attention. So first of all, I'm not feeling well. Let me just go through my checklist. Okay, am I eating well? Am I sleeping well? Am I giving myself enough self-care? That's your basic physical needs. Okay, yep, check. All right, so my mental needs, you know, am I doing work that I'm engaged in that is like floating my boat? Am I using my creativity? What's missing in there? Am I engaged in what my mental being more cognitive? And then emotional, like how am I feeling emotionally? Like, am I feeling flat? All right, so emotional is usually it's so many different areas, but understanding that self-awareness, what are my values? Am I even living, is my job lining up with my values? Is my relationship lining up with my values? No, that's draining. Okay, so if I've checked all my physical boxes and I've checked all my mental boxes, then I can start looking at my emotional and then therefore spiritual, because I think that whole self-awareness, your values, your passions, your gifts, your personality, because God made you specifically with, like, there's a blueprint that you can work out, and your gifts, your strengths, are you using those? Because if not, you'll feel a bit flat and out of it. Your values, are you like, is your life conflicting with your values? Then you're going to feel like there's an internal struggle, and you know, so and I know I've gotten slightly off topic, but the point of it being is that self-awareness and knowing which one of those well-being quadrants is taking a hit can lead you in the direction that you need help. So it's physical, go to the doctor. If it's spiritual, go to Reverend Jim. If it's sort of more rounded, then go to a life coach. But I have said no to clients because I know that what they need is not me just yet. It's more, you need to go and deal with some of this stuff with a counsellor, psychologist, to get that sort of foundation built, and then move yourself on to, okay, where to from here?
Yeah.
You can do it simultaneously, but you don't want to overwhelm yourself either. You want to be, life's not a sprint. You said it's like you can go fast or you can go far.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, no, I totally agree. And I think it's really important to know the differences between that. Sometimes we can't know the differences. And again, speaking to somebody who is an expert, if they really are an expert and trust in what they can do, they can also admit their own liabilities and limits. I remember about 15 years ago, I went to the optometrist because I really wanted to sort my eyesight issue out. And when I was in there, I was saying to them, look, there's this thing in my vision I've not actually noticed before. And it's like if you had an old school television when there was no signal and you just get that white and black dots or whatever just in a thing. And he said, do you get that all the time? I said, no, just sometimes it's just there. And he said, that's not your sight. You're actually having a migraine. And I thought, oh, really? He said, is your head quite sore? I said, yeah, but I've always got a sore head. He said, yes, I agree. And that's part of the problem. So this is not an eyesight issue. This is actually, you've got a migraine going on and you're going to need to get that sorted. So he sent me off to the doctors, and that was really helpful.
So that's a really good point, because not every person that you seek help from is the right person to seek help. So don't, first of all, I guess, measure everything that you're being told by your own set of standards and what feels right for you as well. Because just because you might have found a really good coach or mentor or whatever, if it doesn't feel right, then it's not. Maybe it is just like an internal struggle against progress and growth as well. So also it's just about having that, developing your own intuition, I think, for what you need. And I think the biggest problem with all of us at the moment, just society, is that we have way too many distractions and we don't have any quiet time. And yesterday I was reading a lot about, I was digging right into Isaiah actually, but I was reading, I got pointed in the direction of be still and know. And it just reminded me that we are in our phones, we are on our computers, we are in the TV, and we never stop, one, to listen to God, that's where we hear God, but two, to listen to your own intuition and to go, how am I feeling right now? And I've gotten to the habit of doing that every single morning. It's like, how am I feeling this morning? So what do I need to do with myself as a result of how am I feeling? Am I full of energy? Then let's get stuck into a to-do list. Am I feeling flat? Let's dial down the expectations and dial up the gratitude or something to lift my spirits. But you can't, if you don't take time out for yourself, because you are the best person to know what you need. And so we can constantly be seeking either validation or input from other people. But I would put out the challenge to everybody to get in touch with your self-awareness and your intuition, and take time out for yourself to just ask yourself those questions. How do I feel? What do I feel like I need today? Who do I want to be today? And then what do I need to do as a result? And once you've gotten more in tune with yourself, then go out and seek external help. You and God are the best people to amplify your life, but other people should be the third option to bring in to help you with that, because everybody needs help. And it's not just so much, I think, the strategies and the wisdom and stuff that other people can bring you, but it's the encouragement, the cheering, and the accountability. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, an author that I know, Bob Goff, who wrote about something that he does on he's set himself up a little ritual on Thursdays. He calls it Quit It Thursdays. So he'll often quit something. And I think that's really important as well. Like, what can be taken off my plate? I think it's there's a lot of wisdom, I think, in taking some things off your plate, especially those things that frankly won't matter in the future. I know that some of my regrets in the past is not spending enough time with my children. And it's typically because, oh, wait, the news is on, or wait, this is on, or I've got this going on, or this call. And I can't tell you what any of those things were. I do not know what was on the news that was so important right now that I couldn't look at my daughter's picture or what my son wanted to show me. I can't tell you that, but I can tell you that I know that it made them feel bad, and I certainly feel bad thinking back on it in the future. So I think it's been really helpful, I think, Fiona, to try and differentiate between all of those different things, those different types of people. And I think it's really important if you've liked this show, if you like what we've got to say, that you perhaps like it and subscribe perhaps for anything else. And please let us know in the comments anything that you would like us to talk about or investigate for you. I know that simply your ability to hear or see these programs that we're doing, you also have the same search engine to search out any topic that you might want to know about, but you won't be able to hear about it from our perspectives unless you ask us. So I suggest that you might want to do that.
We'd love to have a convo about anything. But thank you so much for another great episode, Jim. And thank you so much, everyone, for watching. And we'll look forward to seeing you next time for Beauty and the Priest.
Which one am I again?
Hey?
Which one am I again?
Not Beauty.
Oh, great. Yeah.
Wait.
You've been working out.
Bye for now.